Get this. Also, surprised I didn't realize this before. Telling people you have to be in Jerusalem before Shabbos, Erev Pesach, right? Why? Because it's forbidden to travel on Shabbos. But you also have to make sure the Mizbeach is there, Erev Shabbos, on the Temple Mount. Otherwise, even if the green light is given on Erev Pesach Shabbos, you're not allowed to build an altar on Shabbos. It is forbidden. How do I know this? Because the first halacha on Shabbos and in building the Beis HaMikdash. Achas Shabbos Usaitish Moru. Even though you have a serious commandment to build the temple and its implements, you have to observe the Sabbath. Building the temple does not override the Sabbath and Yom Tov. And you don't build the temple at night. If we don't get the Mizbeach up by Friday, the 13th of Nisan, then no matter what happens on Shabbos, we cannot have Korban Pesach.
Would it not be possible to do it on the morning
of Shabbos?
Yeah.
Let's say you prefabricate the Mizbeach, which is really hard to do because it's huge. You'd have to put it in its place. Setting a built Mizbeach into its place on the ground is a form of construction. Okay? The Mizbeach has to be set in its place. So even that, it's like a Makkah Bepatish. There's no way to set up the Mizbeach on Shabbos without violating Shabbos. However, and I forgot something, Rashi has this idea of the temple falling from heaven, complete, ready to use. And he dafka said that concerning what? The events of the first day of Chol Moed Pesach. He used it to explain a difficult Gemara, which is hard to understand. Before Pesach, there was no Mikdash. Suddenly on Chol Moed, there's a Mikdash. Where'd it come from? He didn't build the Mikdash over Yontif or at night. Must be it came from heaven, fully built, right? Therefore, many people believe this. This is an article of faith for them, which is why, by the way, they are strictly opposed to any human effort to rebuild the Beis HaMikdash. They take it almost as one of the Ani Mamims, as though Rambam himself wrote, Ani Mamim B'Muna Shalema, that the Beis HaMikdash is going to fall from the sky, completely built, and therefore is forbidden for us to ever do anything whatsoever to try to bring this about. Right? That even though it's not written anywhere, I would imagine that perhaps even a majority of Orthodox Jews believe that, as though it were written.
There's a letter from the Rabbi to Rabbi where he brings the mark who says the opposite of
okay, fine. You and I know that, but I'm just trying to say, folk Judaism says this. Mm-hmm. If you are one of those people who firmly believe that the temple could fall from heaven, then Kal v'chomer, you have to be in Jerusalem before Shabbos. You know why? Because if the temple comes down on Shabbos, the problem I just illustrated will not be. Temple shows up on Shabbos, so you don't have to do any binyan. There's no malachas. You could go ahead with the temple service. Temple service does override Shabbos, and Korban Pesach will happen. I'm saying here, being too rational and saying, if by a certain time Friday afternoon there is no altar, so that's it. It's lost. Another year lost. Okay? But according to those who believe, like Rashi's suggestion, which Rashi himself did not accept, because in the next Masechta, Rashi's like, no, the temple will be built by the tzaddikim. But aside from that, let's say what Rashi said is one of the Ani Mamims.
It means that the Shekhinah has to dwell in the human built
structure. Fine. Let's say those who hold like Rashi, literally it's the 14th Ani Mamim, you're not allowed to rebuild the temple because it's going to show up. Kal v'chomer, all of those people need to get all their preparations done, no matter what, before Shabbos, before the 14th of Nisan, and they have to be in Jerusalem on the 13th of Nisan with their goats and their lambs and have a place to stay, because they're the ones who say the temple could fall down from heaven, and that's what's going to be. And if it happens at Shabbos and they're not there, then they've missed Korban Pesach, and that's a big no-no. Well, it's a yes. That's like a no-no. It's punished as though it's a no-no, but it's a yes. Okay, so it's a boo-boo. Okay, so watch out. Yeah, that's the right. We have to find the halachic terminology that fits these situations.